Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I am very excited to welcome you here today. We are really pleased to have you all here. I'm here with my colleague, Stevie Field Chavez. She is going to be along in one moment. And we are going to be talking about the new COVID data layers that we have here at GIS Planning. We are really excited to be able to share all of that. Stevie and I were just talking about the fact that we are so proud of the rapid turnaround in which we've been able to provide and generate all of these new tools that we can share with you. We really appreciate that you are able to join us here today. We know how busy this has been for everyone, and we want to be able to get to this and to share it with you. So just some of the things that we want to say, many of you are familiar with GIS Planning. We've been around for more than 22 years. We're the original creators of ZoomProspector, the GIS property sites and buildings location analysis tool, open access data platform for your community. But in addition to those things, some of the things that we learned since the middle of March, my goodness, it's almost a month, but it feels like it's been years already. I'm sure many of you are feeling the same way. We were hearing from our clients and hearing demand from people for different kinds of information data layers. So we've been able to pull together a number of different things. Now, the one that you are getting the first glimpse of today, that is actually going to be launching next week, is a brand new business listing or status tool called Zoom Business. This is going to be for economic development organizations, chambers, government organizations, all kinds of things in the US and Canada. And that is a business listing tool, so you can track businesses open or closed and all sorts of other detail, and you can let them enter their own data. The other thing that we have offered and we launched last week is a free COVID-19 data mapping tool for your website. You can go anywhere in your website. It's absolutely free for any economic development organization, government organization, chamber. It is US data only. At that point, we've only been able to source US data at this granular level. That can be embedded anywhere. We're going to show you what that looks like and how to implement it. Super easy and super simple to do. We've also rolled out some new data layers for all of our clients that is in the map layers section of their ZoomProspector tool, so they can map COVID-19 cases. We're using daily updated data from the New York Times. We've also rolled out the Chmura JobsEQ Job Loss Vulnerability Index in ZoomProspector. And been able to let people map that information. That is based on 2019 Q4 employment data. They're about to update it this week with 2020 Q1 data. Be very interesting to see. So some of the things that we're going to be showing you are the way to also map local data layers within ZoomProspector, if that's something you want to do. As you see here, and Steve will be showing you some other examples. From the city of Columbia. This is the city of Indian River County, rather, in Florida, and some other shots here of our new mapping IC, or intelligence component, as we like to say. That's something that you could put anywhere on your website that is free for all US economic developers. And so with that, I'm going to hand this over to Stevie, and she is going to walk you through what all of these things actually look like and how you can access them.
Wonderful, very good. Can you hear me and can you see my screen?
We can hear you and we can see your screen.
Very good. I think they've made that a drinking game these days because everyone's saying that. But with that, thank you so much, Elisa. I appreciate the introduction, and everyone else, I appreciate you joining us. I hope that you're able to walk away with some new information and tools at your fingertips today when you leave the webinar. And so with that, we're just going to jump into this and get started. So I'm taking you first to our website, gisplanning.com. This is where you're going to find the interactive intelligence component that actually maps very important COVID-19 information. And so it's gisplanning.com, and then go to COVID-19 data and information. And I've got these tabs open in several areas just because I understand GoToMeeting takes a lot of bandwidth here. So let's kind of scroll in a little bit. All of our maps are interactive. So you can see the different information repopulate in terms of, right now we're looking at total cases. So this is an example of some of the information that you can find. I can click on any county in any state and get information on that particular area. So I can also access the COVID-19 map for my area. So I'm going to click on this, and here are my instructions to embed this map free in your website. So I'm going to select the county that I'm in, and once I've selected that, we're just going to say, we'll say, I guess, Adams County, Mississippi, and I'm going to share my report, and you can see the instructions to embed here below. So all of this information is located on our website. You can get the map and instructions here, which will walk you through the process in that COVID-19 area. Again, you do not need to be a client to be able to access this information. It will include, unfortunately, the information of total cases per 10,000 population, deaths, new deaths. We hate that we even have to provide this information, but we understand this information is vital for your communities. And so I'm proud to work for a company that understands that and is making this accessible to everyone. So I encourage you to download that and embed that on any website page that you want. So go ahead and do that. So we're going to walk through, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and show you, this is South Carolina Power Team, one of our clients. I'm actually in South Carolina, which is why I chose this. So I just wanted to show you where they embedded this. You can see they have their COVID response page here, and they put their information right down here at the bottom. So they've got their county map. And then I can look at my different COVID layers here, and I can see I'm back into my layers by county. And I can even look at new cases and information, again, by county. And if they're all interactive, so I'm able to scroll in, scroll out, and just get a view of a tighter area if needed. Okay, so, and we kind of discussed the instructions a little bit. So let's move ahead. So Elisa mentioned our Zoom Business application that we just came out of. And, you know, the one thing that's happened over the past month of really kind of swimming in this new world of ours is the birth of a new application to assist communities in getting information out to your website visitors and those that live there. We understand that the surveys are going out and everyone's asking about your business. Is it open? Are you offering drive-through capability or curbside pickup? And so what we've done is, if you're familiar with GIS planning applications, it works very similar to the site selection application, which allows you to find a location. This is a city, so this will just have city information, but if you're a larger region, you would have regional information or county information. We can determine that information based on your criteria. I can search for open businesses in various categories. So I can find restaurants, I can find a grocery store or a bakery, a bank. We even have health facilities, so there's categories to choose. We feel like we've gotten them all, but this is where we also ask you to participate a little. And if you see any improvements that can happen on these tools, we love to hear about them. And so you do have a little box where you can type in information on where we might improve this. We had this idea a couple of weeks ago. We talked about it in one of our webinars. We made it a very interactive webinar. And as a result, this is what our team has developed in just 2 weeks. So it allows your user to, I can scroll in. Again, our maps are interactive. I can select a different restaurant and find information about this restaurant, a website, if that's available, different hours if that information was available. Now, it's really important because this is a question that's going to come up if it hasn't come to you already. How do I get the information in? So you must be a client of GIS Planning to have this application. If so, in the back end of your system, you will have the ability, and I'll show you what that looks like, to load this information. You can load it from an Excel spreadsheet, and we have the format attached in the back of the application. You can also data entry one by one, and soon, if not by the time, well, I think by the time that this rolls out, your businesses will actually be able to go into the application and upload their own information. And that is really, really big. If you're familiar with our GIS applications, it's very similar to a site selector going in or a broker going in and uploading their available site or building information. It's the same type of information. I can select the description if I'm a restaurant, enter my property information. This we can make sure is auto-populated, or they can enter that community, enter my hours, my website, which has our new menu, is there takeout, is there delivery, and of course, last update. And so we're updating this information daily. So it really just allows you, instead of having that alphabetized list on your website, it allows the website visitor to really try and find the businesses or facilities that are needed for them. It's a really good kind of customized site. Elisa, do we have any questions on this?
We do not have any questions just yet, but it's a good
All right.
reminder to people that you could put those questions in the field on the right-hand side of your screen.
Very good, very good. So another way to use this is to be able to filter by area. So I'm interested in only searching a specific region for sites, or excuse me, see, that's how similar it is for available restaurants or health facilities or banks, and I can actually draw an area on my map, and I can populate that information with my then restaurants that are within this type that I'm looking for. I can also save. So if I know I'm looking for a couple of restaurants that my friends and I may want to try, of course, separately using social distancing, I can mark those in my folder. And then I can look at my saved results in my folder and simply share this link with my friends and say, hey, you may want to try these restaurants. They have great curbside service. They have great to-go service. So that's a great way to share. I can even share on social media. If I have a folder of great restaurants who I know are struggling in my community, and I want to give them a little extra love and attention, I can put a folder together and share this folder on any of the social media networks. And so people can actually see that these restaurants are open for business, and they will come into this page into your Zoom business application. So you're able to see actually who's kind of visiting your site. So, and there we go. So I did mention the back end of the system, the admin system. So this is where your business will upload information. So you can search by business or health facility. I can select which type. So if I'm wanting to source some of my information, let's go back to restaurants. This is a beta site, by the way, so maybe we don't have information on grocery stores just yet. It hasn't been implemented. We haven't actually rolled this out. This is kind of one of the first previews. So you can see we have the name of our restaurant, our hours. I can always edit information and add hours. If we know that this restaurant has unfortunately closed temporarily, we can put closed, change the hours, add an additional website, that type of information. So we also have the ability to download the template, which is an Excel spreadsheet. So you as the user could enter in this information. I know a lot of you are capturing this information right now for your communities, so you're able to download that template and fill in those spreadsheet boxes, so we can then upload it and it would populate the application just like you saw with City of Columbia. A couple of the new features that we've also added into the back end of this COVID-19 section of your admin is the ability to see various graphs of information. So again, because I'm in South Carolina, I'm going to look at South Carolina and show the unfortunate information of cases and deaths by state. So I can see how many cases we have, as well as how many deaths that we've had. Is this peaking? You can see by our graph, or is it stabling off? Here we can see kind of how it's grown over the past few days. And then our cases, we're able to search cases by, you know, this is alphabetized, but I can also see cases by the least amount of cases to the greatest amount of cases, and then vice versa. Unfortunately, I'm in Richland County, which is our state capital, and you can see that our cases are continuing to grow. And then I can view the charts for just this county, and then export this chart for just our county. And you can see that, you know, we've taken a dip this one day this week. We did take a dip, and then we've kind of back on the rise. So we'll see what happens with this. But I'm able to watch this information every day. It's updated daily. So I can export these charts, and I can really just provide this to our community members, our community leadership, and those visiting our websites, a list of what's happening in our county. Elisa, I'm going to turn this over back to you. Do we have any questions? I know we had a poll.
We do, yeah, we do have a poll. Actually, maybe before we take the questions, I would love to ask some people some questions about this. So this is one of the first ones that I will share. Let's see. So I'm going to invite you guys to put in your answers here. Is your community tracking right now which businesses are open for you regionally? So I'd love to see your responses. Good, I'm seeing some votes come in. So this is one of the things we heard from a lot of our clients, is this is data they want to provide, but it's a lot of effort for them to be constantly keeping in touch with the businesses themselves and doing the outreach to do that. So, okay, we're almost up. We'll give you another few seconds. We've got about 72% of votes in. So if you haven't voted yet, this is your chance. And we'd like to share this with the group. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and close the poll here and share these results. So you can see that almost 3/4 of you are tracking which businesses are open. This is going to be something that changes, it's greatly in flux. Almost 10% of you aren't, 15% aren't sure at all. So this
Elisa, I cannot see your screen.
You can't see you can't see my screen. Okay, let me grab that back from you then. Hold on one second. I'm glad you're telling me that.
Thank you.
I thought that
the joy of interactive, yes.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to grab it over here.
There it goes. Okay.
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, 73%. So that's an impressive number with the group that we have on the call. So I see those surveys happening every day. Communities and consultants are really trying to get businesses engaged to figuring out who's open, who's offering that curbside service, where are my testing facilities, banks that are open right now, or some banks are just drive-through only. So that's a really strong answer on the people who are tracking that information.
Absolutely. Okay, we do have one more poll, so I'm going to close this one. And this is a kind of similar sort of question. We want to know whether your organization or community is providing localized data on COVID-19. So that is things that have to do with cases, with deaths, with testing centers, anything that is specific to the spread of the novel coronavirus itself, localized data. Excellent. We're getting lots of responses coming in. I'll give you guys a few more seconds to select your vote. And I have had, since we've rolled this out to clients a couple of weeks ago, is we have hundreds of clients across the US and Canada and into Europe. Really, almost everyone was in agreement this was important data to be able to share, as people were looking for these for different up-to-date sources that are very local as well. Okay, I'm going to close the poll here, and then I will share those results so you can see. So a little more than 3/4 of you are providing that localized data on COVID-19. Another 50% are planning to do so, and 10% are not. So we recognize that this is information that is very important to people. I'm going to hide the results over here. And as we take questions here, I'm just going to put our contact information up on the screen in case you have questions that you want to reach out to us about. So We have a number of questions. Okay, so will this automatically be added to client websites, or do I need to request that it be added? From Michael, it's a very good question. So the COVID-19 data from the New York Times and the JobsEQ Job Vulnerability Index has already been added to all client sites in the US for under your map layers on ZoomProspector. That is something that is there. And if you want to add the COVID mapping tool that would live on another page in your website, that is something you would have to go ahead and do. And in the follow-up email that I'm going to be sending out with the link to the video to all of you who have registered, I will make sure that I include links to all of those things. So if it is something, whether you're a client or not, if you're interested, you'll be able to just click on those links in that follow-up email.
And Elisa, if you'll share the screen again, I just want to show Michael the resource that might be helpful to him.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And we appreciate everyone's patience. I know it's a little bit of a different webinar. We've really been trying to keep interactive webinars going just because we want to hear from you what you're doing and what we can do to meet the needs that you have in your community. So Michael, in your admin, there's the COVID-19 section. And so you can add open businesses or testing sites. And this is that page where you can start adding your information, and where you can download the template, add a location, and of course we have our help desk. So feel free to contact us if you have any questions or challenges on doing that. And then on the COVID-19 data center, our information is updated daily. And so this is where you can find information for your state and your community. So just feel free to access that in the back end of your admin.
And as Stevie has said before, all of those, the charts and graphs are going to be able to be exported as images or as links so that you can put that in a newsletter if you want to. You can send that in an email, you can put it in a PowerPoint chart, or you can share it on social media as needed. Yeah, thank you, Stevie. And Michael also asks, can it be added to a separate page or website like the COVID information, or will it be limited to the properties page? I assume, Michael, that you're talking about the Zoom business tool. That is separate from ZoomProspector, and that can be put on, it would be put on a separate page in your website. One of the things that we have tried to emphasize for a long time with ZoomProspector, that is not just a property locator, but a lot of people have, see it that way, and they often list it as sites and buildings or property locator on their website. So we recognize that that's not going to draw the businesses. So Zoom businesses will be entirely separate. You'll have a separate dedicated page on your website for it. And that is something that is going to be provided to all clients, that is free to all existing clients. If anyone is not a client and is interested in adding just Zoom Business, that is possible too. We are scaling it to population to make it affordable and accessible for all. A question from Helene: when our commercial realtors enter their information for property search reasons, I assign them a login password. Will I need to do this for all of our local businesses? That would be a lot. And she added that she really likes the concept. So that is an excellent question. No, we are going to just provide a form for them to do that. We agree with you. Assigning passwords would just be way too much. So we want to take some of the work off your shoulders. We don't want to add to it. So the intention right now, and again, it is still in beta mode, but we are hoping to launch within the next few days. So would be that they would just be able to go in and do that on their own. Is this mobile friendly? Yes, it is mobile responsive. That is part of what we offer with all of our data tools. So whatever device your website visitors are on, they will be able to see them. Can companies add any details like special offers or anything when they add their business to the map? That's a really excellent question. And yes, we are trying to give them a category so they could say something like curbside delivery only, or takeout, or something like that. Right. Stevie, did you want to add something about that?
No. I was just, I'm loving the ideas, which is why I love to make this interactive, because I think that's really important. The website I know is important because that takes you to the menu, but maybe we could add a section We'll have to check with our development team if there's a section about deals or specials or something that maybe just kind of a box of just news or notes.
Absolutely, that's really important. Now, one of the really interesting things that we have noticed as we're talking with clients is that on our ZoomProspector tool, the business and industry cluster mapping tool has become really important in the past few weeks. It's always been, I think, a very important and valuable tool. But now, as we see procurement and supply chain shifting, because people are no longer able to import things from far away, travel restrictions have made things very difficult, it's all very complicated to do, that people are shifting to look for local or regional procurement patterns and supply chain patterns. So it's really interesting to see how both Zoom Business and ZoomProspector is going to be a tool for business and industry to do that kind of shift locally and regionally. What we're calling nearshoring, or is being called nearshoring and not just offshoring. So I think that the fact that we're able to map this data and not just provide listings of open businesses is going to be really useful for the businesses themselves as they need to discover new synergies locally and regionally to be able to help each other. Another question. For Zoom Business, does ZoomProspector Enterprise provide the data, or do we provide the data to upload? If yes, does it include email addresses? So if I understand your question correctly, Lance, ZoomProspector, we provide all of the mapping data, but the idea would be that you can either, that your businesses themselves will be able to fill out a form on the site and enter their own business data about their address and any of the information about whether they're open or closed, website, telephone information, and additional resources. I mean, it is possible, I suppose, that economic developers who wanted to do that for them could do that. It would be a manual upload. We are planning to also offer other kinds of businesses resources, perhaps loans or incentives that might be introduced over time. So for the most part, this is something that we are going to bring the mapping data to, and your businesses largely will provide the listing data. I hope that answers your question. If not, please write back and let me know.
Yeah, the idea is we understand that economic development organizations, chambers of commerce, your plates are full. And so this isn't to create more work for you. It's allowing businesses to say, hey, I want to get my information up there because I need this curbside service and this to-go service to work to keep me going until we can all get back to whatever our new lives look like, and they can get back to regular business. And so for them to upload the information or them to input the information, and then again, for all of you who have those spreadsheets of data of businesses who are still open and that information, that's why we've created that spreadsheet for you to export that data into.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the export function I think will be really, really useful. Someone adds that they're getting a lot of requests to share deals and specials for local businesses. We know many local businesses are really, really struggling, and so we're seeing lots of promotions and discounts as they're doing their best to maybe move things online exclusively or offer takeout or delivery, curbside pickup. So we do think that's actually an excellent idea to be able to do that. Someone suggests, John says this is a great benefit for chamber members to know about it. So absolutely, that's something that that I think this would be particularly valuable for chambers to be able to provide to their members.
Well, and on that, it's, you know, part of this is creating something that we can use now, and then knowing we're going to go to the next stage of the resurgence, right, where we come back out and we get to open the windows and open the doors, and everybody gets to kind of go back to, again, I hate to keep using this word, but that new normal of life and what that will look like for a while. So chambers can continue to use this tool because then you can just open it up to all of your chamber members. So this will continue to evolve and improve, just like our site selection application, our ZoomProspector application. I really could just see the long-term benefit. And I've been in economic development now for 20 years. I'm a former client of GIS planning. I did economic development for a community in Southern California, a regional community, and I can see that this would have been a great benefit even 20 years ago. So I really, really hope that this that I'm glad that you all see the benefit of doing something like this in your communities.
Yeah, absolutely. We have one more question. This is more of a question for another Chamber of Commerce. Will you be offering Zoom Business just for your members or for all businesses? So I guess thank you, Helena. It's a really interesting question, something for chambers to think about. Is this something that you will offer to all of the businesses? It might be a nice way to generate new membership as a service, at least initially in the recovery period and during the lockdowns and shelter at home orders that we've got now. That's an interesting question. And if anyone has any thoughts about how you might want to handle that, we'd love to hear from you.
How I see that working, just off the top of my head, is maybe having a banner that says chamber member or new chamber member. Certainly chambers could limit it to just their membership. That would be completely up to you. And that may be something that you want to do after we're out of this kind of, global crisis. But we may be able to do some type of banner situation which brings more attention to that chamber member, or even a search button that says, chamber member. There could be a couple of ways that I could see that we could do that. So I definitely think it's doable. We'll probably wait a little bit until maybe life gets back to some normal and before rolling that out, but I think it's a great idea.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. No, I agree. I absolutely agree with you. And so, because it's such a new tool, there really is nothing like this on the markets, then it's going to be really interesting to learn from you as economic development professionals and chamber folks. We want to see the creative ways in which we put this to work, but clearly it's just we really just saw it ourselves yesterday for the first time, and you guys are among the first to see it. So we're really excited to see how this gets received and how it gets used in different creative ways. Our small and medium-sized businesses in particular are really going to need our help in the days, weeks, and months to come. So this is just one more way to give them a boost. Stevie, this brings me to the end of the list of questions. Some great questions there today. Was there anything else that you would like to add?
No, I just, I wish everyone health and happiness for both, or health and wellness for you and your families. I know that you're all drinking from the fire hose here in your communities as we try to be useful to the businesses that are there, and it's all created different days. So if there's anything that we can do to help, or if you have any other ideas or thoughts on some of the things that we're working on, we always love to hear from you. Elisa's got our information up here on the screen, and I appreciate you joining us today.
Yes, thank you very much. We know how busy you all are, and we do appreciate you taking time out of your days. Please feel free to send us feedback. We'd love to hear your thoughts about these things, and we look forward to working with you in the days to come. Stay safe. Stevie, thank you very much, and we will be in touch. Take care. Goodbye.